I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You're watching WCSD from Calloway County High School.
Theater has always been a large part of the Murray-Calloway County districts. From community theater to school theater, it teaches kids how to express themselves. Hi, I'm Jake Hunter here with Calloway Connections. Our most popular theater, Playhouse in the Park, has been made possible by a special person. Please welcome Executive Director Lisa Cope. Thank you so much for being here, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're going to break down Playhouse into its core elements. First of all, really, for the audience that doesn't really know, what is Playhouse? What does Playhouse do? What do they stand for? Things like that. What do they do?
Sure. Playhouse in the Park is a community theater, which means that other than myself, it's 100% volunteer run. So everything that gets done at Playhouse, all the acting, all the costuming, all the set building, the painting, everything that goes into putting on a production is done by volunteers, which is pretty amazing.
Wow.
So with that said, it's when you think about all the things that happen out there, we have a huge education program. We do 6 main stage shows a year. We do a dinner theater. We do a penguin project. We do summer camp. We do all kinds of
Pretty
things.
much everything.
So yes, it's an amazing place.
Okay, that's awesome. So how did you really start into theater? I know that you've been working at Playhouse for a while, so how did you really start to develop your life into theater?
You know, theater, as far back as I can remember, I've known about theater and gone to theater, and that's because of my mother. She always took me to see all kinds of theater and concerts and just all kinds of things. Music and theater were always just a part of our home. I got actually involved in theater around the age of 14, 15 when I played the piano for a show over in Mayfield for Purchase Players. I played for a show called Guys and Dolls. And that was my first real thing to do in theater, and I was hooked, immediately. We call it the theater bug. That's what happens when people come. They get bitten by the bug, and it certainly happened for me. So however many years ago that was,
just
a long time
playing the piano,
ago.
not even in the show, just playing the piano.
Right, absolutely.
That's
and
awesome.
So ever since then, there's never been a time I haven't been involved in theater in some way.
So you're saying that you started out at Mayfield. You said that was your first. How did you transition from Mayfield into Murray Playhouse?
Well,
those are two different.
Yeah, it is. What happened was I directed a show in Mayfield, Fiddler on the Roof Jr., and some kids from Playhouse in the Park came over and auditioned for the play and were cast in the play. So we did the play over there, and it was just wildly successful. So some folks from Playhouse in the Park said, hey, why don't you bring that show over here since some of our kids are in it? So we did that. We brought the show to Playhouse in the Park with the same cast and everything and did it there. And I met some really fabulous people. And then just about at that same time, unfortunately, the director of Playhouse in the Park at the time, Michael Dunnigan, was killed in a car accident.
Oh, wow.
So they were really just kind of struggling to figure out what to do to get them through the next little bit until they could make a plan. So they asked me to come back and direct a show for them, which I did, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which was a great experience.
Yeah.
So that happened just from meeting those folks, and because it was several years later when they called me about interviewing for the job. But from that experience is how I met those people and then got the job.
A happy accident.
It was, it was.
So was that you said Joseph you went and directed Joseph at Playhouse. Is that the first show that you ever directed?
No. I directed Annie Get Your Gun at Mayfield.
Oh, okay.
Many years before that, but it was the first thing, other than Fiddler, it was the first thing I had done at Playhouse.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So do you have like a favorite show? Do you like lean towards one? I'm guessing Annie is probably something that has like a special place in your heart since it was the first one you directed.
There were so many that, because of things that happened or whatever, are really special to me. I've always kind of said Joseph was my favorite because that was just such a great experience, and led to knowing all these folks, and then led to this amazing job that I get to have. So it probably is really my favorite. But also a show called Big River, which is about Huckleberry Finn. Really is probably my all-time favorite. I've been involved in that one several times, and it always really touches me.
Yeah,
It speaks to me. Yeah.
So we did actually Big River at Playhouse.
We did,
And
yeah.
we just did that recently. Do you want to talk about that since it was, you said you've been involved in it before, you've done it before?
Did over in Mayfield. We did it twice. And again, I was playing the piano for both of those times. A friend of mine over there, Laverne Waldrop, directed the show. The second time we did it, some Playhouse folks came and auditioned. So they played Jim, the slave, and Huckleberry Finn were actually kids from Playhouse in the Park. So there was a connection there really even before I knew all of that. So we did that, and then at Playhouse we did it a couple years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always, every time has been a fabulous experience. It's a great show.
I'm sure it is it's a very good. I've read the book. We read the book in class, and it's a very, very powerful story.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about your shows before. We've talked about your history. Let's kind of talk about what's going on at Playhouse right now. So we just recently did The Little Mermaid,
We
just finished that
Just
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. And so the next show that we're doing right now is The Crucible. Do you want to talk about The Crucible?
About
a
as
little bit?
extreme as you can get,
Yeah,
isn't it?
from
Disney
to The Crucible.
to The Crucible. But that's great. It's one of the things I love about Playhouse. We do all kinds of things. And I tell people all the time, if you don't like this show we're doing, that's okay, because you're probably going to like the next one. So
big jump.
So
big
that's
jumps.
fine. So we did Disney's Little Mermaid. It was very successful. Lots of children, of course, in that audience, and it was a big hit. So now we're getting ready to open The Crucible, which is an American classic. It's been around for a long, long time. It's a show that every theater ought to do at least once. And Playhouse has done it before, but it was several years ago. I was told that it was one of the very first shows that they ever did.
Oh, really?
Of course, that was before I was around, so I'm not sure, but that's what I've been told. It's a great show. I watched a little bit of rehearsal last night, and it is so powerful and so strong. It's a show that we're not really recommending for young children. It's just a little bit dark and a little heavy. They're not going to particularly be interested in it.
Yeah.
But for middle school and up, we think it's a perfect show. We think everybody should see it. It's running for 2 weekends. It opens March 4 and runs for 2 weekends. So we're in a lot of interest. We've had a lot of phone calls about it, a lot of people talking about it. There's been a lot of interest in it, so I think that it will be a good show for us.
That's awesome. Yeah. I've heard it's a really, so if you are planning on coming see it, make sure that you are prepared for it. It's not a Disney show.
Right, it's not a musical.
Went from Disney to, no singing, dancing.
But it's an amazing story and a really, really powerful show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to take a few minutes of break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Playhouse and what some of their education opportunities are doing, so don't go anywhere.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. So when we left from the break, we've talked about more of the season, and we've talked about some of the shows that we're doing. So now let's gear it back to more of the kids. So you say that Playhouse has many, many education opportunities. Do you kind of want to just a quick elaboration? I've heard there's a lot of it, so let's kind of do it quick.
There is a lot. We're really proud of our education program. We now cover from preschool. We have a preschool program all the way through senior citizens. We have a senior citizen troupe called the Old Duffers and Powder Puffers.
Oh my goodness!
Which is one of my very favorite things that happens at Playhouse in the Park. It's a great group, and so then everything in between. So everybody has an opportunity to come to Playhouse and learn and have fun. So the preschool program is called Whirl. It's a partnership with Murray Art Guild and Jackson Purchase Dance Company. We do that together. We do that every February and September. So we're just about to wind that up for February. And then we have Pail of Tadpoles, which is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade has a group, and 4th and 5th graders have a group. And then we have Basket of Froglets, which is a new group that we just started last semester. That's for 6th and 7th graders. And then once they get to 8th grade on even sometimes we have college kids who still participate in that. It's called the Box of Frogs.
So they graduate kind of.
So kind of graduating to Box of Frogs. And then for the adults, we just sort of do things off and on. We have different kinds of classes just kind of randomly for the adults. And then, like I said, the Old Duffers and Powder Puffers, they meet year round.
So it seems like there's a little bit of everything for anybody.
A place for anybody,
so
absolutely.
Any age. I love that, Old Duffers and Powder Puffers. I love that
Great name.
Did they come up with that themselves?
They did, yeah. Pretty funny.
Creative kids, I'm telling you. Okay, so we've got all the classes of education. We want to talk about one of the most pivotal things I think Playhouse has done in a while is the Penguin Project.
Penguin Project.
We've done 2 years of Penguin Project. You kind of want to elaborate a little bit on that?
I would love to. Penguin Project is an amazing thing that's going on at Playhouse. Penguin Project was started by Dr. Andy Morgan, who's a pediatrician up in Peoria, Illinois. It's for children with disabilities. Physical disabilities, cognitive disabilities, and really any kind of disability. And it's just an opportunity for them to come into the theater. We do a full show with them. They are paired with a peer mentor who is on stage with them the entire time that they're on stage. But the children with the disabilities are the leads of the shows. They have all the lines, they have all the solos, they do the dances, they do everything.
Wow.
And the peer mentors are just there for support, whatever that particular actor might need, then that person is there for them. So, yes, we're getting ready to do our 3rd year. As you said, the first year we did Annie.
Junior,
Yes, last year we did Susical Junior, which was so much fun. And this year, you may be the first audience to find this out. This year we're doing Peter Pan Jr.
Peter Pan Jr.
Isn't that going to be fun?
Oh, my.
Yeah. So we have about 25 or 30 kids who participate in that, and then, of course, 25 or 30 mentors who help with that. We have about 15 adults who come on board to help with that project. So it's really fabulous. We have really seen that absolutely be a life-changing thing for the kids who are involved and for those of us sort of behind the scenes. It's really a great thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's unheard of, really, in the theater world.
Just the changes that happen with these kids that just needed the opportunity and kind of needed the push. They do things that they didn't know that they were capable of doing. So it's something to see.
So talk about like the time cap on that. Like how long? What kind of struggles did you have to go through? I'm sure working with kids with disabilities has its struggles. Talk about how you combated those and how
we have a great group of folks working with us. Holly Bloodworth is the director of the show and. So she was fabulous. Dr. Andy came the first year. He came to several of our rehearsals to just help us, kind of guide us and know what to do. The parents of the children have been amazing, have taught us so many things that we needed to know. But really, once they were engaged, it was no trouble at all. It was very easy and fun.
Very passionate, I'm sure.
Right.
We actually did a story. We did a story on
about Penguin Project.
So
yeah.
we've
it's a
seen
long process. We rehearsed for 4 months. Where normally we would rehearse for 6 weeks.
Oh my.
So it is a longer commitment than normal. But we do really short rehearsals instead of like a 3-hour rehearsal. We do an hour, a little bit over an hour rehearsal. So it stretches the time out a little bit.
Short bursts of that.
We are so grateful. We were the first theater in Kentucky to do Penguin Project. We're the 7th theater in the whole nation to do Penguin Project, so we were really proud to get on board with that. We love that program.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that. We did the 2 years, and it's coming on their 3rd year.
Coming on the 3rd year.
So if you guys are interested in that, we want to call.
Absolutely.
Actually, while we're doing that, do you want to give some of the contact info? So we we have a new website.
We do have a new website. It's playhousemurray.org, and it's. I think you're seeing a little bit of it maybe right now. We love it because we have control of it. We can keep it very current. We change the photos out, a lot. So it should have really current information for you if you want to go check that. You can always go there to buy your tickets. It brings up a seating chart. You can pick the exact seats that you want. You can buy your tickets that way. You can check audition information for upcoming shows, even things like workshops and work days. We're getting ready to have a work day where we clean the theater. All that information is right there for you on that website. So really anything you want. If you aren't comfortable, a lot of people aren't buying their tickets online, you can always just call me at the theater and I can help you with that. That number is 270-759-1752.
And I'm sure that's listed on the website somewhere too.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess if you don't want to order them online, you can just call.
Just call me and I'll help you with it. Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got contact info. We've got the website, which looks amazing, by the way. It looks awesome.
It does.
So now we have the summer program. So we're going to talk about what we do in the summer for kids, which is something that a lot of kids look forward to.
Pretty great, yeah. That's our summer camp. We do a 2-week summer camp every July, and that's for ages 6. You have to have completed kindergarten, so generally around age 6, up through age 12. It's every day for 2 weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks, we do a show.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just a little show. People always think it's going to be like this little 10-minute skit, but it's a big deal show. It's a full show. We do a full production, costumes and sets and all kinds of things. And one of the really cool things to me is that the children are part of that.
Yeah.
They either make a prop that they're going to use in the show, or they help paint the set, or they do something so that they have ownership in what's going on in that show. So that's pretty great. And then the other cool thing that I love about camp is that once you get to age 12 and you're too old to come to camp, you can become what we call a junior counselor. And so we have lots of our teenagers who have done that, and I think you've maybe done that before.
Yeah, just a few times.
And so which it really works well because they've been to camp usually for several years. They kind of get how camp works, the rhythm of camp.
I'm sure that really helped with that.
So it is so great. It works really, really well. They still want to be involved, and it's a good way for them to do that. And then it helps us, of course, to have the help with the children. So it's a great thing. It does fill up. We take 100 children, and we've increased that every year up until we got to 100 kids last year, and we physically don't have space for any more than that. So 100
kids, I don't think we want more than 100 kids
the
there.
cap.
Yeah.
So that registration opens early April. That will be on the website again, the information about that, or you can call me. And it will fill up just within a few days.
Wow.
And we'll have to start our waiting list. So if you're interested in that, I've
heard the waiting list even fills up.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it does. So every year we have children who get turned away, and that always makes me sad. But it's a great camp. It's a good experience.
There's probably a reason that it fills up, though, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you
I
have
think
some younger friends or some younger siblings that would want to do that, definitely make sure that you get on that early.
Right, I'll have people on my porch that morning that registration opens, and they'll be there waiting. So.
They'll be waiting for you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the teen program really quick. So I've heard that they are planning a trip to New York City, correct?
They are, yes. We're going to New York City in July, so we're really excited about that.
Seems like there's a little bit of everything sprinkled in at Playhouse.
Yeah, it is. That's why I look old all the time and tired all the time, because I am. It's a fabulous group. It's our Box of Frogs.
Okay.
They meet year-round. They always do just fun things, and we try all different kinds of things, and maybe we like it and maybe we don't. So lots of fun stuff. So right now, of course, we are really focused on fundraising. Trying to pay for that trip. So we've got some shows coming up. We're going to be doing a comedy called The Somewhat True Tale of Robin Hood.
Oh my.
Which is going to be, it's really, really funny. We're having a good time with that. That will be in May. We don't have those exact dates nailed down yet, but check the website and we'll get that up there as soon as we do. Maybe April. I'm not sure. So they're going to do that. We're looking into maybe a dinner theater later on. We had Singing Valentines, which was a fundraiser for them. Just all kinds of things. So I have kids tell me all the time, I'm not musical, I don't sing, I don't dance. And that's okay. We're doing the show Robin Hood. It's a straight show. It's not a musical. So that's a good opportunity. Or if you don't want to be on stage, we have kids all the time who want to come and just work backstage, or maybe want to run the lights, want to run the sound, want to help with the costuming, want to help with painting. So there's something there for you, even if you're not a kid. Yeah. Exactly. In fact, we always need that kind of behind-the-scenes help. So even if you're not an actor, we can use you. And I think you would. I always say about theater, most people who come to Playhouse are not looking for a career in theater. The majority are not going to do that for a living. But the things you learn by doing theater, you're going to use your whole entire life. You're going to learn how to be comfortable in front of an audience. You're going to learn to work as a team. You're going to learn commitment. You're going to learn dedication. You're going to learn skills, memorizing things, just all kinds of things that you're going to use for the rest of your life, regardless of what you do.
It's incredible. You don't have to be an actor to be in an acting program.
Exactly. You will benefit from it, I guarantee it.
Well, thank you so much for coming with us, Lisa.
Thank you.
So if you want to give the website, go and check out the website, and we want to check at the telephone number that we always want to get to. So always make sure that you check on those.
Right, playhousemurray.org.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Jay Connor. This is Calloway Connections.